Oh, good morning. Welcome to the edition of In the Box. I'm Coach Q, Paul Bell, and today we have special guests, Michael and Francis, who've been married for a number of years. We're going to continue our discussion on marriage. So before we get started, let's go with Michael and Francis. If you all would, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourselves, like how long you've been married. You can even tell us how you meet. Just anything that you want to tell us, just share with us, if you all would.
We've been married a long time. Oh,
We've been married for 30 years.
Oh,
Uh,
congratulations.
we were both in
just 30?
in the military when we met. We
Okay.
met in Where did we meet? Do you remember where we met?
No. It was a long time ago.
We met during Desert Storm.
Oh,
That's
wow. Okay.
Yes,
So in the 90s, early 90s, because that's when
early
we were in
90s.
Germany. I was in
Yes,
Germany during that time period.
yes. So that's when we met.
Okay. All right. So you've been married for 30 years, and so you and military family, both you guys, Army, Air Force, different
Army.
branches, both Army.
Army. Yeah.
Well, welcome, fellow soldiers. Appreciate you. Um, so you that's a different perspective then. So being in the Army, both of you all being in, how was it like being a military couple? And were you all saved or unsaved at the time you all met?
No, we wasn't married while we was in the army. We just met
Okay.
while we was in the
Yeah. So did you all
so
date and then get married while both you guys were in the Army, or is that just where you all
no.
met?
We
Okay.
we when we got married, I was still in the military. Michael was not. He got out
Okay.
before I did. And so when we started dating, we were going through a transition. Michael
Okay.
was starting a new career path because he had served in the military for almost a decade, and now he was deciding what he was going to do with his life next. And he wanted to
Yeah.
know if I wanted to be his partner, be with him in the next chapter of his life, pretty much. I was still in the military. At that time I didn't know what I was going to do, whether I was going to stay in or stay out. We had both been in there for quite a while,
Yeah.
but as you know, the world was changing, the military was changing,
Yes.
and so we had to make some really big choices about life decisions at that point.
Okay. So here it is, 30 years later. How has your marriage been shaped or changed during the 30 years?
Oh my God.
Hmm.
Oh, wow.
Number one, we learned to grow together.
Yes.
Okay.
Uh, communication. Communication is the key.
Okay.
And you also learn to bite the tongue, bite the tongue. Because sometimes in the course of life, you might want to say something, but you had to think about it, like,
Yeah.
I mean, and if not, then what may come out your mouth, you can't take back, you know. So being patient
Being
and
kind,
understanding
being kind,
and letting her be in charge.
being kind.
Yeah.
So you're on this being kind piece, Francis. So why are you focusing on being kind? So
Because you have to be nice and you have to be humble because when you put two people together and build a life, it is a job. It's a constant job. And the thing that is when you compare marriage to a job, we can if we decide to we can say, okay, I had enough of this job and I'm looking for something else. With marriage, you you don't do that because you and we were talking about this not too long ago. I think it was when I went to church and we was talking about, you know, we went before God and God joined our union. And when we did that, is different than a job. It is serious because what God has put together, let no man put us under. And so in our marriage, you just got to work harder than you do on a job. So when you come home or when you're making decisions about uh, what we're going to eat today or what we're going to eat, go to eat after church, it can't always be MCL, right, baby?
It can't.
Hey, now. Interesting enough, you say a job. So in a job, sometimes when the holidays come or those type of things come up, we're gonna call off. Has there ever been a moment where you just wanted to call off, be like you know what I'm saying? That's like as a young person, oh man, they have a family outing or something like that. What are some of the distractions that would make us want to call off, that engagement or the relationship in your eyes? What could you help us with to understand not to make that call?
There's a lot of things. Like in the beginning, there's that doubt. Am I really doing the right thing?
Yeah. Getting to know that person.
Um, which is the hardest thing because before you get married, you're friends.
You should be.
Yeah, you become friends, but
You should be.
you don't really know them because so many things they keep from you. Like
Yeah.
you might want to take off her wig and you never knew she had a wig on, or teeth.
Oh, you may take his teeth out and put them beside the bed at night. Yeah, I didn't know you had teeth. Oh my God.
But you have to find out things about them. But that's called growth. When y'all learn to talk about different things.
Yeah.
So
that's very important.
As you do that,
yeah.
Then you don't want to take that time away from them. If you really care for that person, you don't want to be away from them. You get mad when they talk about, I want a separate vacation. Now, if that person is driving you crazy and not letting you,
Letting you what?
letting you be in charge, or like you stress about your job, you stress about your children, then sometimes you do want to take that break, but you don't.
You have to talk it through. You have to talk it through, and then you have to prioritize what's important.
Yeah.
And if you are going to commit to the person in marriage, you have to seriously consider what you're walking into. And I think that's the problem when people enter into marriage. It's like, oh well, this is the thing now. You get married, if it don't work, people get divorced. Yeah, it's easy to quit. If you do it, it's easy to quit and move on and go to the next phase of the next relationship. But what I've learned over the course of 30 years is that in talking to people that are in relationships or people that are in marriages, you go through the same thing regardless of who you are. It's the same different argument, disagreement, issues, financial, children, likes, dislikes. Like my husband, he likes the TV to stay on all night long so that he can sleep. If I cut the TV off, he'll wake up. And he's like, he has to get comfortable to go back to sleep. I hate sleeping with the TV on. But over the course of years, I've learned how to adjust to let the TV stay on all night and sleeping through it. But marriage is a sacrifice. And that's just a small sacrifice.
So here's a question for you, real quick. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but did you guys know Christ before your marriage?
Yes.
Yes, we did.
Okay. So
Yeah.
did you all have standards going into your marriage that carried over through your marriage?
Yes.
I would say yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we
Okay.
have.
Okay.
We also have life standards, such as my mother and father was married forever. And I seen my father do things and I see my mother do things, and it was always meshed together. I mean, like they communicated. So one of the things we talked about before we got married, I told her that I want to be married for a long time.
You didn't say you want to be married for a long time. You said, I want to be married forever. I want to get married.
That's a long time.
Yeah,
Forever.
forever. You didn't say it like that. You said, when I get married, I don't want to marry nobody. I'm gonna have to divorce. I want to be married forever, and that's what you said.
Yes, because why waste the time with somebody that you're not gonna be with forever?
I'm not saying anything is wrong with that. I'm just saying what you said. It was like that was your standard for marriage. That I'm married, I want to get married, but I don't. This is something that I want to do forever. And saying that to me, that was like, okay, he wants to
So
marry me
that so that
forever.
so that
And
word stood out to you.
in marriage, you got to listen to this too. I mean, you had to be corrected by somebody who was standing right next to you.
Oh, and you don't correct me?
Every opportunity.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Okay, still, yeah. So good thing is that you guys are talking. Paul, you gonna have a question? You got a question?
I was saying that how important is it? He says, "Bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh." How important do you see that scripturally, and then applying it to where uh, one, when you left your parents or people, that reflection is, it says, "I'm not going to hurt. Why would I hurt my mate if I'm not going to hurt myself first?" And then the other parts of that is the importance of the reflection. So, like, you say, that saying, when you see her, you see me. When you see me, you see him. How important is that to people understanding your relationship and your bond, that flesh, that reflection piece? How important is that for us to understand that, you count on each other, and uh, you don't look outside for outside help, but it's inside. That makes sense.
Okay, that's very important. And
It's one of the most
yeah,
biggest things about marriage.
it's huge. And I would say that we walk that walk, not just talk it. And for people that know us, they know that we are one, that we're abundant. We pretty much do everything together.
You see me, you see her.
Yes, you do. And if we're not together, people are saying, okay, where's Michael or where's Francis? Because we are that one. We walk the walk. Not only just talk it, we do it. I mean, when we step out of our house, we step out of our house hand in hand. But yeah, we do. I mean, I reach for him and he reach for me. It's a natural stride in our relationship. It's automatic when we step out, and we just didn't start off that way. I mean, Michael was always a gentleman. He would open the door for me, made sure that I was comfortable, treated me like a lady, and that's important in a relationship. And the respect that I show him, I've always shown him as a man, is just as important. And so I think we have, over the course of years, we have grown in our individual walk with Christ, as well as our individuality as being partners in marriage. So he is grown in his role as the husband, and I've grown in my role as a wife. And we try to stay in our lane, but sometimes we cross over because we're human too. Okay, we're human, but at the end of the day, Michael has the final say in our house. We talk things through, but I go to him with what I'm thinking, and we come together in an agreement as to how we're going to proceed. I just don't make all the decisions. He just doesn't make all the decisions. We make the decisions together, and we come to a mutual agreement where, okay, we made a decision. Let's move on from that. What we're going to do
Okay.
next.
So what scripture has been a foundation that you guys have both used? Because either individually or as a couple, that you all want to share with those who may be watching.
Uh, What it was.
Mm.
I guess Ephesians.
Mm. Yeah, so that's like education for marriage. You
It
know.
is.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
Um,
Okay.
got a real,
Go ahead, Paul.
I got one because we got to acknowledge this. The devil comes to steal, kill, and destroy, and we know that he does not like any good unity, right? So, how often do you feel in some part of them that three tasks of him, steal, kill, and destroy, had to try to play a part? Have you seen it? And because of your love and unity, you overcame it. Like you say, you guys is bond. And you said earlier that no man put us under. So how often have you seen him try to dip in his nosiness and try to distract you guys from your unity?
Every day.
Every
Every
day?
single day. You're going to be tested.
it comes
It.
from going to work. Work would cause problems. You
I
know,
mean, yeah. People.
you know,
People. Yeah. People
just things
are.
that happen
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
to show that somebody's trying to get between you or someone's trying to get between you.
And sometimes it's you. You in as a person, because we are not perfect beings, and
Mhm.
we all fall short of the glory of God. So it's sometimes things that you do that don't line up in the relationship, where you don't realize that you are going a separate way, or because when you're in a relationship with a person for a length of time, you know that person moves, swings, you know that person. I mean, you just know how that person reacts. And if there's something that's off, you know it, and then you're trying to say, okay, this is different. What's causing this? Why are you acting like this? Why are you doing this? And usually that's the devil. It's a distraction trying to come in. Because regardless of what you go through in your relationship, you should be able to come together and talk it through. But the devil don't want that.
Okay.
And we have to fight every single day to keep it under our feet. Because when you have an argument about something, or a quick example. We had an event this weekend, Paul. Now you know we had an event. But this is an event that Michael planned without me. He agreed that we were going to have this, and so with him agreeing to do this, he came back and then he told me. So, of course, when you plan things and it's not decent and in order with what God says, it don't work out the way that you see it in your mind. Something always happens. So, needless to say, fast forward to the weekend, it didn't work out the way that Michael saw it working out. So, as his wife, and as I always do, I had his back, and we made it happen. That required extra time and commitment, and from me and Yolanda to make it work. But we made it work, and things like that happen where one person may get ahead of themselves in a relationship, but because they do, you don't beat them down, you hold them up when it happens.
Yeah.
And you see them through. Okay, you said we was gonna do it. We're gonna do it. We're gonna make it work. We're gonna make it happen, and that's what we do. We just press on.
She is so awesome.
So
I know, Paul. It's time. It's time. We got to wrap it up. We got to wrap it up. I know you want to keep on going, but folks, we try to keep these episodes within a certain amount of time frame. I told you guys
Okay.
we weren't going to be on here long, and I try to keep my word. I know this is good. I know it's good, but we'll have to have you guys on another time. But we do appreciate you guys joining us for this edition of In the Box. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, any of you viewers have any questions, comments, concerns, or feedback, or even if you want to write Michael and Francis, feel free to email us at inthebox317@gmail.com. Again, that's inthebox317@gmail.com. I'm Coach Q. That's Paul Bell and Michael and Francis. Once again, we thank you so much for being along with us, and you all have a blessed day.
You
Thank
y'all do
you.
the same.